absolutely monstrous turn you heard the analyst desk talking about, and really what secured C9 back into the game, as well as getting the Renata to separate from Kalista, one of the most popular lane pairings with that champion.
Oh, wow, choosing Amumu as an engage option, of course. Kalista can throw him in. I like this pairing a lot. Obviously, you can see a lot of Renata as well for just outright lane building, but you can have Huhi play like a complete maniac, and if he goes in and he finds the combo, you can get yoinked out, or you just toss him in and he finds the combo anyway. So a lot of engage here, a lot of ability to pressure through this side. And Cloud9 taking Aphelios as a safer backline option.
Yeah, I actually think Aphelios is the best pick in the game against Kalista. I've seen some AD carries actually prefer this matchup. If you get a little bit ahead, it's very difficult for the Kalista to come back.
Definitely the case. Kalista struggles realistically with two things. One, if you have an all-in threat against her to 100-0 her early on in the lane, things like Alistar, Tristana was a famous combination against her. The other thing is if you just get abused by range, and with the green gun as well as some of the red gun sustain, it can make the matchup swing in Aphelios' favor, though Kalista often has pressure if you're able to get some good trades.
No Cloud1 final ban. Of course, the cannon is gone. Will it be a Fiora for Under Thieves to set up Aatrox yet again and say you don't have a third option? Or a fourth option will be okay next time? Cloud9, what are they going to get rid of?
I'm very curious because Ssumday, secretly in that game, it was kind of not talked about, but he struggled a lot. Remember, in that chase down sequence, it started with first Ssumday getting picked, then Jensen, then Ssumday dying again in front of the Elder Dragon. He was also getting abused in the lane matchup against the Kennen, so I think 100 Thieves want to do something safe for him on the top side, given that most of the attention will probably be going bot lane around the Kalista.
Completely agree. I am a little surprised, though, that they just banned the Aatrox rather than saying, okay, we'll take Fiora into it. Maybe they're considering themselves too AD heavy at the moment. Really interesting Zillion ban as well.
I think
this leaves up the Ornn Camille trade as well, depending on how C9 want to play it.
I think the highlight the ban was, that was them being, oh, we were setting up for Aatrox, like we're going to ban Kennen and Fiora. And it's like, they got rid of it. What do we want to get rid of? I don't know. We both need mid laners. Zillion's one-sided, screw it. Like, it's always an okay ban.
I also like the Ornn takeaway here. You're talking about wanting to play around bot lane. Ornn is the obvious, safe top side pick, and even if they did take the trade for C9 side, they could take the Camille into it. 100 Thieves do not want to take Camille and then play two champions who kind of want a little bit of attention on opposite sides of the map. Or maybe they do. They take Gwen. She can play weak side.
So a lot of early game pressure. I mean, Taliyah, a huge roamer. Only two of her abilities have damage on the rank up, so she's going to cap out pretty early, but it's a ton of pressure towards the bottom side. Poppy can dive, Amumu can dive, Kalista will have lane pressure, and Taliyah going to show up quickly as well. Of course, a blind pick mid laner. Cloud9 may find a good answer. What is it Jensen wants to play into one of the best mid laners in the patch right now?
The bird.
The bird is the word.
Doing the bird.
No way. Actually comes across. Okay. The Cryo Phoenix has arisen again for Jensen.
I remember at one point in 2021, no one has played Anivia. No one has even seen it. And one day Jensen just shows up and says, I think we should play Anivia.
Yep.
Looking for angles.
Like, have you played it in solo queue? He's like, no. But he knows how to play it. It's a 10-year-old champion. He's been playing pro for so long, and he has played it this year as well. This is far and away just a team fight angle for C9. It's about, let's just control the game and outscale it. Because 100 Thieves has gone so far in the early game bucket, and C9 is just picking AoE team fighting.
Early game and low range for 100 Thieves, which is something that Anivia loves to pick apart. The walls can separate teams, make it hard to follow up, as well as just the Glacial Storm, providing a lot of slows and damage. So much zone control, which puts a lot of pressure on, one, the snowball for 100 Thieves, but even when they get ahead, to make sure they find really clean engages.
Well, this one's going to be fun right now. Gwen might be immune to champion spells, but the wall, you still have the path around, so at least part of that.
Such an amazing ending we had to game one. Such a close game from start to finish. And I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but I feel like it's almost impossible for this game to feel close. Because for 100 Thieves to win, they would dominate the early game.
I see what you're saying.
And therefore, it would look like Cloud9 was never in it. But if this game ends up being won by Cloud9, it might just feel like a slow strangulation where 100 Thieves doesn't have the tools. There will be close moments where the scaling can break through the early game that 100 Thieves has, but the same type of even gold for 40 minutes is very unlikely based on these teams.
And you already see some of that aggression coming through for 100 Thieves there, getting for a bit of an invade there, checking with the Taliyah Q, not finding anyone, getting that small ward to try and spot Blaber out early. The other thing about this matchup is that it's two completely different styles kind of going on in the bot lane in terms of the wanting to snowball the Kalista, the Aphelios kind of wanting to absorb that pressure, as you can see, again, that aggressiveness, starting with Sweeper right away to make sure that they can clear out wards in the bot lane. If you can get to this one as well, both wards early on cleared out is going to give Closer so much pressure around this bot side of the map.
Wow, good reflex. Abbeddage already ready to sidestep. Crystallize, well done. That's the wall. Flash Frost, good sidestep. But the Tigress is standing by with a word from Cloud9's Max Waldo. Let's listen in.
Now, I know Fudge said the 3-0 in his TGI interview, but how would you evaluate 100 Thieves' strength after that first game?
I think, at least for the draft, we were not happy that they got Yuumi first pick. And we had some strict conditions in game 1 that we needed to team fight. We were ult-reliant, so we had to engage with our team fight. So I think it's all right, but I still believe in what Fudge said, that we're going to take this 3-0, especially with this draft.
Yeah, a little flip around here. Now tell me about this second draft that we have. Anivia coming through in mid lane alongside the changes in bot.
Yeah, we changed our bans, mostly just responding to the first picks that they were going for. They're just banning for their first picks here, so we just responded and then went down the draft just with the next layer of cryos. We're playing Kalista Aphelios here with just normal trade, but they picked in a way that activated Anivia. So I think this draft is much better for us, and the Ornn condition is better for us this game. We banned it last game, but picking Ornn on 4 looked better. So I'm way confident in this draft. I think it's easy.
Easy 3-0 according to you for Cloud9's side. All right, let's see how it goes down in game number 2. Back to the game.
I always want Max Waldo interviews to go longer because I feel like he'll just keep telling us Cloud9's strategy.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this activated this condition, this activated that one. I mean, I see what he's confident about a little bit, because we're talking about how the matchup for the Aphelios is maybe not too bad, and if they can't snowball down there, it doesn't feel like 100 Thieves have too many options. They do always have a bit of a side lane threat with the Gwen on the top side. It's kind of the unspoken part of this draft so far, is that Taliyah can always go up there instead of bot lane.
Interesting. Jensen, I believe, didn't learn wall on 3. I think in most cases you don't need it, but in this exact one, Abbeddage, I think, could have been a target. Yeah, you can see rank 2E, which I understand it's like your better trading option, but in that exact scenario, he ended up having a spot where they would have set up a flash force, probably. Blaber's coming around. Still clearing out the wave, though. The junglers spotting each other really briefly on wards, and looks like it is going to be the scuttles taken. 1-and-1. Blaber has gotten a crab.
Woo! Crabber online, baby!
Thank you. I heard you. The crabber yell in the distance. These headsets are not completely soundproof.
I like how he's become like a little pseudonym for him. You know, it's like there's Blaber, and then there's the Ghost Rider Crabber, who shows up sometimes for some of their games.
You have to check the cover of the novel very closely to see who it's actually authored by.
Now, it is a slow push on the top side right now, as Ssumday is pushing up here. And yeah, it's interesting. Of course, 100 Thieves, if he's left alone, is going to have a nice farming and nice side landing here on the side, as he's obviously going to have eventual pressure on the Ornn. And his killing's in different ways, of course. The Ornn is going to be really good in late-game team fights, and of course gives his team a bunch of stats. But that's the spot. Closer, I believe, was seen there.
Yeah, you can see C9 kind of immediately backing away a little bit more, flashing the emote, kind of saying, yep, we saw you. Nice angle by Closer, just not going to be able to find it. And I did like what one of the tweets was running there a little bit about Berserker's come up onto the scene. It feels funnily timed, because it was right when FBI was sort of cementing himself toward the tail end of 2021 as the hands-down best AD carry in North America. Hans has come over since then, obviously Berserker as well. Danny has continued to rise up, and it kind of threw that into doubt. And through playoffs so far, I think of all the players, Berserker has grabbed the spotlight the most to a lot of fans. He has been absolutely incredible for Cloud9, and that's why I really like this matchup, because it's basically saying, like, FBI, go try and grab your crown back, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, I think about what I've seen of Berserker in NA, and his very first weekend of games in spring were 2 perfect Aphelios games. He was so dominant on that pick. It's fallen a little bit out of meta, and I would say Summer Split regular season was the weakest Berserker has looked in his entire time in NA. The hype for him was much higher in spring, but I think this playoff specifically, taking down Danny, going toe-to-toe with FBI here, and possibly we'll see what the results of this game hold. He is just such a talent and has been so good for Cloud9.
And for now, holding on to the bottom side, CS deficit slight down here. Equal buys for both AD carries, those Berserker Greaves, and a long sword. Move speed, of course, very important. In the aggressive lane, FBI would love to find a slow here. QE gets a little bit of something, but Berserker already under his tower will not be hit by Huhi. And ultimately, he's just kind of fine down there. Now, Drake is being attempted on the 100 Thieves side. Of course, they have bot lane pressure. And right now, with Jensen recalling away, this is a timing where it should be uncontestable. And a very, very early Infernal Drake coming through for 100 Thieves.
Really well done by them. A lot of times, this is part of the power of Kalista is around this 5-6 minute point. You're so almost unduelable in lane that the other team just gives you push, and that opens the window for your jungler to take Drake.
And it's what makes Kalista such a powerful pick a lot of the times in pro meta. There's plenty of insanely lane dominant champions, not just in bot lane, but across the map that don't often show up as much. But Kalista brings a lot of tools that exist beyond just her lane dominance. The ability to help with engages or saving your support, the ability for vision control with your W, the fact that you can stack up Rens and help out with objective control. All these things are kind of what puts her a tier above a lot of what would typically be solo queue lane dominant champions.
Now on pace for around a 23-24 minute Dragon Soul. Not only are you getting the extra stats for Infernal, but it means that, as you mentioned, the difference in scaling. 100 Thieves, of course, early game focus. No surprise, Gold lead, Drake lead. Yeah, of course. It means that before that scaling flip gets turned around.
Blaber.
Yeah. You might find a fight real quick, though, on a Ssumday, trying to dash away, and indeed will stay alive. Blaber not level 6, can't find the lockdown. But yeah, when that switch gets flipped, is that before or after Dragon Soul comes in?
Also, no vision on Poppy there. I think otherwise Blaber might have tried to strap that out a little bit more and chunk out the Gwen, potentially. Obviously, Gwen was 6, so you have to worry about an all-in, but now that means Closer is unseen before he comes on bot lane.
Here comes the first engage, the dive on in. Huhi's going to lock down into the tower, but he will get ulted back out, stays alive, and they're trying to flash to safety. Berserker, he's going to live. It's first blood for Zven.
That is so clutch for Cloud9. That was the moment where 100 Thieves wanted to take over with Kalista. Note the early cleanse there by Berserker and the CC reduction it grants after the fact make it so difficult for 100 Thieves to chain CC and lock him down.
I hope we get a replay of that as well, because I think Zven stepped forward to body block the re-engage on the Amumu, so it just bounced off of him instead of getting the knockup onto Berserker. And with that failed play in the bot side, it also gives Cloud9 potentially a window to start off this Rift Herald.
Gonna be tight though. I mean, look at where Kalista and Amumu are on the map. They're about 5 seconds faster than C9. Only 2k health left
Might
though.
dip,
Here
though.
we go.
Still gonna be a wall, flash into Jensen. Now again, there's no smites, what's a guaranteed pickup, but is there a fight that goes this way? Of course we know Blaber, yeah, he can just flash the wall. So 2 flashes out, but guess what? They got the Herald kill, they got the eye as well.
When you think about it, Rift Herald is really just a giant crab. So Blaber prioritized it heavily.
Really good damage to Huhi. Has no ulti to back him up. He's definitely gonna die. A great setup there by Cloud9.
Just like you were saying, Jatt, this is a game where it feels like it won't even look close. That first dive turns south. C9 snipe away the other neutral objective on the top side of the map that obviously 100 Thieves early game comp wants to be contesting, and then to give off a pick-off in the rotation back down. Here's that dive one more time.
Okay, this is the replay you wanted to see. So cleanse right there, which means he's got CC reduction, so this wall stun barely lasts, and he can flash backwards.
So there's the pullback, and Zven, I think, here is going to he tries to walk in front, so the Amumu bounces off him instead of hitting Berserker. Really heads-up play, knowing where the next bit of CC was going to come from by Zven. And then...
Yeah, I thought he had him, too. He could have stayed in range and guaranteed got the kill. The problem is, of course, bailout happens, and it means that, okay, he's taking down. In every single case, Huhi still dies there, so... end of the day, perfectly played by Cloud9. They withstand the dive, and Huhi just got too low.
Yeah, then he dies again mid lane. So this Anivia is also activated in the game. You can see it's going to be so difficult for Taliyah to push on Jensen because he's just going to be able to hold R on these upcoming waves and never really give him time to roam. Watch this. He just dodges out 1Q. I was hoping he was going to press the R, but he might be baiting a little bit for Blaber.
When they group up.
Yep.
With how late it takes a wave to group up with a cannon in there, he's like, I'm going to make sure I get everything. Don't we switch the mana bar? And then E, turn off R, off it goes. Red up attempt. Smite going to be grabbed. Gets away from the handshake, so Cloud9 don't get anything for the invade. A theoretically forced smite, I guess, but not a big cost for Closer.
Still feels pretty good for Cloud9 there to be able to walk into the what should be strong part of 100 Thieves map and start taking away objectives almost, forcing smites out of Closer, getting a little bit of pressure down, really insane vision control on the bot side on the tail of that engage as well, able to drop a bunch of wards for Closer. Does feel like maybe the attention should start flipping up to the top side for Ssumday. He has TP, obviously Fudge is coming back up soon, but does feel like maybe a pressure point for them. He's been doing a really good job in this lane so far.
Wave goes down mid lane again. 105, 104 in CS. Merc treads rush for Abbeddage, knows he doesn't want to be stun combo. Similar spot here for Jensen. CC certainly matters. In the bot lane, you can see a gold lead. There's the ulti on already. Can he jump the wall? E already burned. Gonna ult for some health and distance and gets it indeed. R for R. Oh no.
He wants more.
Blaber is going to be in range this one. Yeah, he's going to be in range a second. 2 more autos needed, but Ssumday has the jump. And now you've got Closer here. Blaber, you got to get rid of the blast plant for him. Closer will do so safely. When does WNE come back up? The shove back is there. They hand off the kill, and 100 Thieves close the trap.
I did say he's so smart, but who was I talking about? Was it Ssumday?
You're just ahead of the play. Jatt, you're so smart.
Yeah.
You knew the collapse was coming in from 100 Thieves there.
A little bit of tunnel vision there from Blaber, for sure. Because if he can really put Ssumday in the dirt there, he can break open the top turret, make Ornn get a gold lead on Gwen, and really take away like the last vestige of 100 Thieves' hope in this game. But he dies there, burns his ultimate, is dead. It allows 100 Thieves to continue to stack these dragons, and they're very much alive in this game.
Yeah, maybe just that little edge they needed to grab onto something, start coming back into the game. No Divine Thunderer was finished by Blaber, so didn't have the damage without his ultimate up. The EQ was rather pitiful looking actually against the Gwen at that point, so there you go. Dragon stacking still a potential avenue for 100 Thieves back in the game. Gwen also finished off Riftmaker already, hitting that at a pretty good clip, just at about 12 minutes now. Can keep that pressure up on Ornn and become that 4-1 threat that they might need.
So halfway to Ocean Soul already. Again, 23-minute Dragon still about the pace we're on right now. Gold is pretty close. We're going to track that in terms of item spikes as top lane Mythic comes through as well. Abbeddage Ghosts to not remain in range, but these are the 2 stat Drakes right here. Ooh, flash and a stun and an ulti. They know they can go for Jensen. His flash is down. They're going to get more CC. They will try to get the egg, but not quite. He won't burn, and they're going to get one back. Goodbye to Huhi. No one in range to help, and they're going to get 3 kills in a row in the same member.
Jensen still has his passive that whole time, so a disastrous play by 100 Thieves. Do not stop the Herald from charging, and do not stop Jensen from picking up his 2nd kill.
Nice play there. Cloud9 baiting them in, kiting it out. No Kalista there to save him either. That means there's alone time for Berserker to go push that bot lane in. Just not quite on the same page. It felt like there was no angle for a wall stun for Closer. So when Huhi goes to this flash engage here, Closer would need to somehow get behind the Anivia. Maybe if he flashes on the other side right now, but Jensen has no flash.
He had ult. He walked up to, unless his ult was somehow down and we're missing it, he can just walk up, Blue Smite ult, and Jensen is always egged there. Yeah, his ult's up now. Like, he always has Jensen. If he presses R, he might have thought he didn't need it. And he's like, oh, we'll get him no matter what. I'll save it for the re-engage. I understand that logic. But they had the tools guaranteed to force that
And
kill.
especially after Huhi flashes in, you kind of have to just commit to the play. They need to be on the same page. If Huhi's going to go in there and drop his full combo, Closer needs to find a flash angle on the wall stun, get a knock-up as well, and actually just finish off Jensen. Wasn't able to do it.
Miscommunication, unfortunately, has been a theme in these games, sadly, where we've seen little bits drop, where one person has an idea, the other one doesn't have the same one, and a little bit slip through the cracks. Still, though, a close and competitive game, but with the scaling advantage on Cloud9 and a gold lead, I feel like they're in ever so slight control right now. AD Carry has the first spike. It's like an early Gale Force was burned by the Aphelios.
Berserker is in a bad spot.
Just to flash away.
Quickly realizes that he's going to die if he doesn't do that, so actually a pretty good reaction.
Yeah, and even choosing the flash over the cleanse. If he cleanses the Amumu, Amumu still ults him, and then Kalista follows up, so has to flash so he's not in a range for the follow-up. Overall, the best choice he could have made there. We look at again, top lane being pushed, 149 CS, definitely a high mark here for the Gwen. You can see Berserker and Zven, after kill gold, the leaders in this game.
Absolutely huge for them. Jensen having a much better laning performance this time around, was attacked quite a bit by Closer and Abbeddage then. Battle of kind of the all-snub mid laners here. Yeah. Taking place in winter finals. Neither Abba nor Jensen made it onto All-Pro. I know Abba had some salty tweets that, I can understand where they're coming from after he had an incredible second half of the split. A lot of people saying he was the best performing member of any mid laner.
Yeah, if you were to... It's a little bit strange because people only vote for the top 3, but the 4th and 5th vote getters were Abbeddage and Jensen. So they're like 1st and 2nd team snub mid laners.
Yeah, it's the battle of the all
still made something 1st and 2nd team.
All right, we missed something here. Is this a failed blue buff handoff? Blaber going to greed this one out. The clone! Oh! Wah, wah. I will say Anivia also might be the worst feeling champion to have that happen to. Her mana costs are so high, being a Season 1, not 200-year champion, actually having mana costs.
They have buffed that severely over time, to be fair.
True.
But yeah, no, I agree with your point. She does have a meaningful mana cost, though still clearly good enough for pro play here, and successful even in the hands of Caps against EG back at MSI. A couple of wins here in the LCS now as well in domestic soil. As Ssumday keeps the top lane pushing up.
And I think we got a really big fight coming in about 48 seconds, and Fudge without TP running out top is going to make it difficult for him to arrive to this dragon on time.
Feels like almost a concession at this point. The fact with no TP, him heading top, they don't want to contest this. It's surprising, not just because C9 has the gold lead, but also how important it is to deny a potential soul point.
Okay, so they're still dropping this mid.
Wow, smiting for the ulti. They can wall as well. Not a lot of place close to go. Good ulti gets him for a bit of time. 20 seconds, the Drake spawning. That means Blaber will be back in range in plenty of time. I don't think they answer the mid lane right here. Eventually, Shelly will get into range for this one, and unless you're going to smite and hit the eye, this is still going to be the mid turret falling. Jensen gets all the gold, plus 450, as the Drake is spawning, and now Fudge is walking down.
Look at Huhi, though. He's got a great flank. This is tense.
Ssumday. There we go. Goes immune and jumps the wall, so W blocks some of it. E gets around the other, but can they even fight this? You can see Taliyah running pretty far away.
It's a nice flank by Huhi, but it's also kind of blown up battle lines. Yeah, Cloud9 is not really in a position to contest this. They need to all kind of get on the same side. You do want to find the flank, but right now they're split up on like 3 different entrances into the river.
Well, third Phreak is tanky. Here comes the Ornn horn. Finds closer. Wall comes across, but it's already Poppy down. They're sequestered, and now like a flashes back to safety. Blaber will not be in threat here, but Ssumday wants in. Will there be a fight? Berserker comes across into 2, but they're going to go right back around. Blaber cannot find the engage. Fudge should drop, and it's already 2 picked up. What an engage by Huhi, followed up by his team. Blaber does what he can, but it's not going to be enough. A stopwatch for Huhi, and they're going to get all 3 unanswered kills. FBI goes for broke and dies.
Berserker still just sniping people from the back of that fight, but a very huge performance there by 100 Thieves to chase down after closer falls. Dragon still up, and so many people need to respawn and run back.
Yeah, Closer is up already and on his way back, as well as Blaber being dead for 5 more seconds means that with this TP, they should be able to get it uncontested. Abba stuck around as well. A crazy fight. We were so worried about the positioning. Hold on. Maybe it's not uncontested.
These third Drakes are so tanky now. 11,000 health, still 7,500 health left as Fudge sees it.
Yeah, not a spellbook Ornn, so it should be smiteable. Closer has it. He should claim it. Does get it. 3 digs, 100 Thieves. Flash is not up. Poppy is the casualty of this fight. Then it means that Cloud9 retain their 1,500 gold lead, but it is Ocean Soul Point for 100 Thieves.
Ultimately, probably the right decision there, giving up Closer's life for it. Baron not up for another minute means that there's not immediately a ton of things for Cloud9 to grab, just going to get some pressure in these side waves. And this fight, we were talking about how weird of a setup it was for 100 Thieves, but they blow a ton of resources onto Closer, and it's going to be Ssumday who's going to help carry this fight when he shows up from the backside, hopping into the Dragon Pit.
And Huhi just realizes his flank is no longer good. Look how far away that little Amumu is trying to support this, but it's such a huge shot there by Abbeddage's Taliyah to get 3 people with the pullback. Then Huhi finally gets here with some bandage tosses and allows FBI and the rest of 100 Thieves to turn the fight.
And he was just sniping those needleworks through multiple members of Cloud9, finishing off Ornn. That was finally when Huhi could find the re-engage, a nice double stun there. And then this ult, just landing from max range, getting all that damage in. He had a couple of chakrams stacked up. Gets the Q onto FBI at the last second. That's actually what's going to spell his doom. FBI greeting.
He wanted Jensen, I thought.
Yeah, might have been Jensen he was targeting there.
I think it was Pop, realized he doesn't have it quite there, but now Ssumday in a bit of a 1v2. Good damage out of Blaber. Last shot of the ulti comes across, wants to turn it, but I'm not sure he has enough. The knockup's still hitting, and it's going to be pretty close. The bailout makes it happen. So much damage on this Gwen.
Ssumday's a bit of a problem.
He's becoming a problem.
Yeah, that was barely a victory in a 3v1, and it's going to give 100 Thieves windows for this mid-turret. I take back what I said at the start about this not feeling like a close game. This feels incredibly close the entire time.
You caster cursed it in the good way. Good job, buddy.
That's what I do.
Wow, we're going to see a 3-0 sweep. I can't believe this. We're just not going to have any good games in this series. Thankfully, 100 Thieves doing the best they can to make it an exciting one. 1,800 gold. And it's going to grow a bit if Fudge can stay on this turret. Around 2,000. Team fights have been looking really fun. 7-4, though, in kills. Cloud9 generally getting the better of the champion combat. But it has been Drake's going Closer's way. And guess what? 3 minutes away from an Ocean Soul.
Alrighty, Berserker going the playmaking build, has Collector with Gale Force. There are a lot of squishy members on the side of 100 Thieves. It's really only Closer who's going to be stacking resists. Really, I mean, you know, Amumu will get some as well, but with the fact that you often take lethality on Berserker or Aphelios right away, this gives him the potential in mid-game to make some huge highlight plays, and we've seen him do that time and time again.
I mean, it's an item spike build, right? LDR is the conventional wisdom when you're like, yeah, we're going for team fights, and once you're at IE and you're chilling at 35 minutes, yeah, it's the better build overall, but the components spike better, all the pieces look better, and Berserker needs power now because they're fighting for Ocean Soul in 2 minutes, and LDR is a power trough otherwise.
Yeah, and to just kind of give an example of how fast this Soul is getting stacked, C9 is just about to complete their Seraph items. So Fudge just got it to transform. Jensen's still 6 mana away, so they will have them. It is a significant power spike for C9 at this point, but that's just how accelerated those first 3 Drakes were.
Be pretty much 2 items across the board for what could be the climactic battle. If Cloud9 win it, they get the Drake, okay. They get even more time to scale up and might feel in control. Gold lead actually grows to 2.3 thousand. As we know, Baron is a possibility.
They could burst really fast with Anivia, and they have red-white.
It is warded, though, and until they get controls in the pit, they know there's no safety for this one. So they get some of the jungle control. Jensen will grow the gold lead in the top side.
I think there was just a small rotation up to protect Jensen's push, grab this turret, get a little last influx of gold before your final reset, before this all-important Ocean Soul fight coming up here. 100 Thieves instead focusing on getting Cryo in the mid lane, not wanting any more gold necessarily, just wanting to start getting vision out ahead of time to make sure that they have these angles. Huhi already working on it. We'll see what FBI wants. Only around, I think it was 1,100 gold in his pocket.
On the way towards, if he wants to deal, yep. And that'll be the build going forward, as Scuttle will time out pretty well as Vision for this Drake fight. 4th in a row for 100 Thieves it would be. Although Blaber has had some really good smites so far in this series. May get a steal, we'll see. Half of the Void Staff now is Jensen.
Whoa, buddy. That's such aggressive vision retaking by Blaber there. 100 Thieves absolutely could have been waiting in that bush, but he gets control.
Worth the risk in the end for Blaber. Gets all the vision cleared out, basically, for the side of 100 Thieves. Just the Scuttle Crab still on their side.
That's why he had rage in his eyes. Can't get the crab. I'll get your wards! Knocks him down again.
Gwen is just really hard to deal with. You can't hit Gwen with Ornn ult. It can immune a lot of the Anivia abilities, and if it gets melee range of Berserker, it can still present problems. Berserker has great guns, though, for a team fight. Should be able to get a huge amount of chakrams up. And 100 Thieves...
Oh, wow. Wow.
Cloud9 not willing to solo the Drake, so it's going to be 100 Thieves just going for a big play here. Okay, he's going to try.
And then TP in after.
The time is going to be pretty tight then. His mana pool, I believe he's not wearing a blue, so maybe it gets a little bit difficult there as well. 9,000 here on the Baron. Fudge spots it. Abbeddage, does he have what it takes? As the Drake is still going down, 4,000 health. Renzo stacking up to get Fudge to walk away. The fight's not going to happen. Huhi flashes in, stuns 4. Cleanse away from the AD carry. They're going to pull him back out now. Ornn will sound. No, it hits nothing. They get rid of Blaber. Drake is gone. Fudge at 1 hit from dead. And Ssumday goes in, snips him down. Wall comes across, separate them. A stopwatch out. And that means Blaber can't find the engage just yet. Aphelios with the ulti. Berserker hits nothing. It ends up being a 1-for-1. So team fight goes to 100 Thieves. Drake goes to Cloud9.
Blaber's dead, though. Closer's still up. That means Smite will be available potentially. Doesn't have a charge quite yet. Needs it to come back. It's ticking down. We'll see if they want to start it back up. They still have Kalista to stack a bunch of spears. That's why I thought 100 Thieves was actually going to stick on the Baron and force C9 into them. They're going to do it again, though.
And they burned both summer spells from Berserker. Jensen's going to recall for mana and teleport back. But they do not have vision of the Baron, and Berserker is vulnerable.
Oh my God, got knocked up.
You can stun Zven. Oh, he turned around blindly, but the shove still lands, and they'll pick off the support. Closer getting a bit too low to play for this one. Drake handed over, but +2 kills to 100 Thieves.
God, it's hard to call who was the winner in that play. It stops the soul stacking for 100 Thieves. They get a bunch of kills back in their favor. It does also stall out potentially any sort of forced fights that 100 Thieves can do, because now C9 can properly set up their vision control, properly kind of face check when 100 Thieves start this Baron, as opposed to having to charge in blind.
I think C9 is still going to be mildly the victor in this, because the game just gets to go longer. The Soul is delayed, Baron wasn't taken, and they'll trade a little bit of gold back and forth, even if it's in favor of 100 Thieves, but it was so close.
I thought they were going to stick on, because Kalista's been hitting this for about 10 to 15 seconds before they realistically need to turn. This was sped up, so you can see there's a ton of spears in Baron. That pretty much gives you the guaranteed smite E combo if you connect it to it, but Huhi decides, let's go try and ace them here. It's a really nice 4-man ult. They have to cut through Fudge, and they're doing a good job of it. He actually runs so far back that I think the Ornn horn times out from range, so he can't actually get the re-hit onto it. Ssumday's able to chase him down because of that, but finally Jensen's going to show up for backup.
Yeah, and a very uncharacteristic ultimate miss here by Berserker. He fires it a little bit off the target of Ssumday, or was aiming for FBI.
What a close team fight there. That last second backstep by FBI, maybe saving his life.
Stun's gonna land. It's gonna be flash force out of Jensen. Amumu could have gone for the combo.
Blaber.
Wall not gonna get much done here as Closer is able to mark Blaber, pushing him away. Well, the team fight now happened because with Ornn down, maybe you like this fight. Taliyah wall back on cooldown as he gets minions. Maybe could have stuck the team in.
A lot of vision control for 100 Thieves at Baron, though, so it's easy for them to fall back into that position and force C9 to face check them. Fortunately, Ornn is extremely tanky, a very good option for frontlining and face checking these brushes.
Blaber takes some damage. FBI feeling safe, has flash, not the cleanse. A wall separates them again.
Ssumday actually grabbing blue buff. They know who the carry is this game.
No one can really leave Baron because of how quickly both teams can threaten it. 100 Thieves going straight back on it before Berserker has IE, and Huhi goes.
In danger, gets yoinked back out, but that is now a missing ultimate and no longer safety for the 100 Thieves front line.
Yeah, Huhi did not burn his ultimate there, but this means that if he decides to go in, it's probably a one-way ticket. His stopwatch has already been used. And with no Kalista ult, that means you either win the fight or you're gonna die.
Important timing as well, Berserker's cleanse almost back up. When we had the 4-man ult from Huhi last time, it was instant cleanse for Berserker, and he put the threat on the back cleanse. Everyone else was tanky enough to be stunned and not care. And it's going to be back up here again, so they can't even do it as part of the dive. No one else is reliable lockdown for him. Should feel pretty comfy here on an upgraded Gale Force. The ornaments are coming through. 3 so far in the inventories.
God, what a weird position for 100 Thieves to be in. They need Ssumday to have any real threat in these fights, but that also means he doesn't have time in the side lane to kind of force the Ornn to face check him. So this is such a strange position because the bot lane Wukong did not get off the ground.
He's gonna keep hitting though.
Vision gained, but the wall could be huge. There's not much of a fight to be had anymore. Will they get the engage? Stun's coming across. Wukong buying the time. It'll delete Huhi. Couldn't be saved. They evict Ornn. They should get Blaber back. The bailout will get him killed all the same. 1-for-1 support for jungle, but the health bar is too low and 100 Thieves keep fighting.
40-second death timer on Blaber. No smite available for attempting the Baron or the Dragon Soul that is coming up. It's likely just going to be a reset for both teams.
Reset for both teams, and probably actually swapping down to the bot side. I think for 100 Thieves, you really want to be able to get this soul point for the... Look at all these extended situations where a soul would just be healing you up over and over and over again. I think 100 Thieves really want to be able to grab this one so that their Baron threats become so much more potent.
13 seconds. Blaber spawns, then the dragon spawns, and he's got to run across the map to get there. It's going to be pretty tight, and it should allow 100 Thieves to get the vision control first. Blaber is now in base this second. 100 Thieves will clear mid, and they get a little bit of time to take down the bottom river.
Yeah, Huhi has ultimate back up again. I'm expecting 100 Thieves to start this very quickly. They don't want to be too brash, though. Level 16 Anivia, that ultimate does a lot of damage. They just... I mean, if they're going to hit Baron, you're going to hit Dragon as well.
All right, red-white for Berserker.
And you're going to have Wukong in range here. So it is a 5-on-5. Somebody coming around just now. Can't do a ton. Here comes the first engage. Knockout comes around into Huhi. Flash ult's going to land. Cleanse out for Berserker. Re-engage comes across. Pretty low. Huge. Find the first kill. A whole bunch as Ssumday dives across the backline. Abbeddage's good for a triple. Abbeddage's good for a quadra. And who needs a dragon when you can take the Baron?
A 5-for-0 clean ace for 100 Thieves lets them grab the soul point and flip up to the top side, grab the Baron as well. They just broke Cloud9 open.
And as much as we talk about the scaling of Cloud9's champions, Anivia, Ornn, Aphelios, just this inevitable doom, if they all get hit by all of Taliyah's spells, it's not going to matter. And Abbeddage took over that fight.
Such a good job controlling the space there as all of C9 tried to funnel into the river. Ssumday was hitting everyone. Abbeddage was hitting everyone. FBI able to hit multiple members as well. Huhi landing a critical ult, making sure that he stuffed Blaber's engage. So far ahead now for 100 Thieves.
Really well done. House the Dragon Soul. Ocean is on. And I just need to see that fight again because Abbeddage good for a quadra here at the Bud Light Ace. Let's see it.
Yeah, so C9's trying to funnel through this very tight corridor, not able to get a setup to go around, and Blaber just kind of awkwardly has to go in, and then look at everyone on C9 getting stuck. Jensen, Berserker, Zven, all getting hit by Taliyah. Good night. Ssumday then comes in with so much Gwen damage to clean up.
Just everything was absolutely stuffed by Cloud9 there. Blaber tries to go in. Huhi absolutely dismantles him and stops him from getting any important damage. The Poppy W stopped the Ornn redirect to stop the R2 for the second time in a row. Obviously, Abba's monster flick.
Handshake and a setup closer though. Tanky, but not tanky enough. Berserker shoots him down as much damage as did the entire last team fight. But Cloud9 have to work back a 5,000 gold deficit, a Baron buff, and a Dragon Soul.
Critically stalling out that Baron push now. Still a 5,000 gold lead, but does stop them from immediately getting pressure on the map. 30 seconds until he's back up. Ssumday still pushing up at the top side. You can see they're not wanting to waste the entirety of the Baron buff. Ssumday is so strong now, finishing off his Zhonya, starting to work on what is probably going to be a death cap now. Here we see it, just a clever camp over the wall.
Yeah. Always looking for angles. They land
Chakram,
Renata, Wukong, and then long range. Boop.
Wow.
Yeah.
Lethality crit build looking pretty good there with the IE finished off.
A nice shot, looking good. Extra stats from the Gale Force upgrade, everything looking nice right now. But it still requires so much to come back because 100 Thieves have been doing better, mostly objective-wise. Kill score's close, right through 310, but is 70 CS in the top lane. And yeah, as you mentioned, Ssumday, definitely a big deal. Shadowflame second, as they have steadily nerfed the true damage on the center Q. Flat pen for killing a backline looks a whole lot better.
And I think even with the soul, this game could go either way. C9 have been unable to get the combos off. It has been 100 Thieves with the superior team fighting mechanics. But 100 Thieves still have to be very cautious. If Blaber can land a good ultimate, or if Zven can land an even better handshake, I can still see C9 having a chance.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of the gold lead is on for Ssumday, but Anivia and Aphelios are relatively online, both at 3 items completed, both extremely strong. And so if they ever get one of these fights where they're able to kind of free hit members of 100 Thieves, they actually peel out correctly, then maybe they can have a chance to win these fights. But so far, 100 Thieves has outperformed them in all the team fights.
Down goes Waves in the mid lane. Anivia, of course, good at wave clearing. Less so when she's against Baron buff minions, who take a lot less damage from champions. But so far, 100 Thieves don't get all that much done. Red Bull Baron power play times out at a 1,700 gold lead. Barely anything more than pocket change above the Baron kill itself. Obviously, the closer pick mattering for turning that one down. We reset on the map as we have almost identical timers for Elder Dragon and Baron coming up.
Going to be a really awkward situation trying to figure out which one you want to focus down for the side of 100 Thieves. Presumably they'll have control there. They also have this 2.5-minute window. I want them to continue to be aggressive. Sometimes when there's the neutral weight, kind of favor both teams kind of want the team fight. But here I think 100 Thieves do have the clear advantage in terms of map mobility and side lane pressure. Don't want them to just ARAM, but it is hard to not respect C9 when they group up.
Yeah, and you also can't over-engage against the C9 team. Like, it's so hard to move through Anivia.
And yet, they flashed and flashed. I love it. You can't engage so hard. Huhi took that personally. And Jensen has to flash away from it.
I love Fudge just breaking open a hole in the wall as well.
Yeah.
And then walking through it.
Yeah.
Makes sense for the Forge God. Just, hey, get this out of here.
Destructible terrain. Trilliordian supremacy. I know. You know, whatever. Gonna happy in this one as 6-0-6 Abbeddage. Good job by Fudge. The best thing you can immune is a knockback. Stuns technically still take effect through the W, but not getting shoved makes it really easy.
Ooh.
Again, a sidestep by Blaber. Nice attempt though by Abbeddage to get that single pick. Not yet.
During this time, Ssumday was pushing down in the bot lane. Not getting anything done quite yet. You can see how tanky Ornn was there, taking the flick back by Taliyah, muting it with the W, and just his health is still full. He's just gonna get tankier and tankier, and eventually it's kind of just on Ssumday to be the real DPS threat to the tankier members of C9.
Yeah.
He's not gotten all the kills despite how much damage he's done in a lot of these fights. Abbeddage picked up quite a few of them, FBI as well.
And we wait as mid lanes crash yet again. 12 seconds desync the Baron and Elder Dragon. A tight timer. 100 Thieves, I think could actually probably burn the Dragon in time and then contest Baron if they were given free reign. I'm not sure Cloud9 wants to give them that. For the 6,000 gold lead, though, 100 Thieves feels like they are the ones dictating the pace. Cloud9 again can lose the minimum. Fudge is tanky. Jensen has wave clear. It's hard to find their way in when Ornn clearly has the best team fight engage of any champion on this map. Cloud9 grouped up, playing to the bottom side. Huhi is around, gonna send back one, stuns Berserker. Ult's coming across. Will they find the team fight though? The wall's coming out to cut everyone else out. Berserker is the target, but can they get him? They're just bouncing him around. It's 2-0 so far. They've got the backline, the third as well, and the fight has been started. The fight has been won. 100 Thieves are gonna take game 2.
Another monstrous engage by Huhi, the unsung hero this game. After bot lane was not able to snowball, he still found huge engage after huge engage on the Amumu pick, setting the team up. Such clean team fights for 100 Thieves to tie this series up.
Incredibly well done.
Huhi started 0-3-0, ends 0-4-15. Massive bounce back, but I think the star of the game is right there on your screen. Abbeddage 8-0-9 on Taliyah with massive team fighting, but there's a lot of credit to go around for 100 Thieves. It definitely looked to me like C9 had the better scaling team comp, but they did not have the better team fighting, which went to 100 Thieves, who took the game.
Absolutely the case. You heard in the Max Waldo sideline interview feeling very confident with that draft. We're not able to execute, and this is one of those situations that throws a lot of turmoil potentially into the back room where you have to figure out, was it actually just our play? Maybe we overestimated the draft. Maybe we thought certain things were going to happen that did not. It's going to make C9 have a lot to talk about heading into game 3.
I agree, but it means we've got an exciting series. We are guaranteed at least 4 in this one. We'll see what comes out afterwards, but it means we get a very hard-fought battle for which team is going to be in the championship match. Yes, double elim. If you lose, you can still fight back for it, wait for the EGTL winner, and still go for that final shot at the trophy, at the top seed from the LCS at Worlds. But to be there already, sit there, watch from above, and this climactic fight here, beautiful.
Yeah, Huhi knows that Berserker is going to be able to cleanse this, but it's just get rid of the summoner spells early so that the rest of the team can come and clean up. So, like, it's not the Amumu itself that actually kills Berserker, but now he has nothing left when Closer and Ssumday can just ghost, ult, and do everything to just try and destroy that Aphelios.
And I thought for a second this got really awkward where Ssumday had to kind of use his skip early to get over his own teammate's wall. He steps out of the immune right when that knockup hits, and he takes so much damage right here. I think, uh-oh, he might actually drop, but there you see the follow-up by Closer helping out, making sure they can actually finish him off. FBI during this whole time has been untouched because there's been so much focus for Cloud9's comp to just try and peel back.
Some anti-synergy too. I noticed the bailout on Jensen, which then was just a bailed out Anivia egg, and then it wore out by the time the egg was dead.
Yeah, that is a mistake by Zven, unfortunately, you know, but, like, mistakes happen, right? Like, this is a tough game, and you're going to see some on either side. Either way, it's well done by 100 Thieves, right? They had the game plan, they had the engage. Huhi, an all-star, absolutely. Abbeddage, immaculate in the fights. A lot of praise to send around there. So 100 Thieves are striking back, and we're going to head over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.